Hello guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Phoenix and today we are looking at Thaumcraft. In this episode I'm going to go with you from some new research and we're going to focus on Essentia Distillation. So in order to do that, as always, we need some scribing tools and some paper. Okay guys, so we have an Essentia Distillation. Let's have a look what it does for us. You see a future need where you will need ready access to multiple different kinds of aspects, not just the primal aspects drawn from your wand. Using a basic alchemical principles, you have devised a way to break down objects and convert them into essentia. The first step in this process requires the alchemical furnace. Alchemical furnace works much like a normal furnace, but by burning coal to produce the heat. But instead of smelting ore into metal, it breaks down objects into a slurry of raw, unprocessed essentia. And that's your recipe for alchemical furnace. Very easy. You just need a crucible, normal furnace, and some arcane stone. The next step in the process is to take the essentia slurry and distill it using arcane alembic. To work, arcane alembics needs to be placed on top of the alchemical furnace. The essentia slurry will slowly be drawn into the alembic and the individual aspects of essentia separated out. If the alchemical furnace is being powered by alumentum, this distillation process is much faster. You can stack up to 5 different alembics on top of the single furnace. The essentia can be then extracted out of alembic using files. And that's your arcane alembic. Okay guys, so I'm going to create it quickly for you and I'm going to show you how it works. Okay, so the first process is we need to get ourselves arcane stone, so it's basically any stone, smooth stone, and any of the shards. You place your wand and you get 9 of them. Then your next step is to put them in this shape. So furnace, crucible, and a stone. So I get a crucible, furnace, and arcane stone around it. And you get that, alchemical furnace. So let's place it here. And now we need our next step, which is here, arcane alembic. You will need this filter, which is a silver wood log and 2 gold, so it's a little bit expensive but not too tragic. And some iron and gold again. So let's get ourselves that. Okay, so you put them in this shape and you get 1 arcane alembic. And what you can do with it, you can place it on top of your alchemical furnace. So let's do that now. And it stays like that. And you can place up to 5 of them. So let me quickly do that. Okay, so you can place up to 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what you do in here, you place your fuel in here. So we'll put the coal. So we have some coal, you place it in here. And you place whatever you want to break down. So let's say we want to break down this stone. You place it in here. And you see it's breaking it down. And it's using the coal as a fuel. And if we take it out and put some alumentum instead, well, I will show you how quickly it goes. Okay, so you place alumentum in here. it goes much faster than normally. And it burns for longer as well. So as you can see, this bar is broken down much faster, and it travels faster to this Arcan Alembics. And what it does now, when you've broken it down, you can see it created Saxon. And when you right click it with your file, it takes 8 of each aspect. But you have to get to 8. If it's like 6 left or 7, you can't click it until it gets to 8. And what is good about it, you can break down your Essentia, keep it in the files if you want, and you can use them in the Crucible. So if you throw one in here, it's going to use 8 of Saxon. So that's a good way to control your Crucible recipes as well. And what is important, even though the normal file, as you can see in here, has one vacuous, it doesn't actually use it in the Crucible, so it's not going to mess up with your recipe. So that's the first thing. But of course, you don't really want to store it in the files all the time, because that's going to take plenty of inventory. What you really want to do is the next research, which is here, warded jars and labels. Oh, and you got it for free straight away. So what it does is basically very easy to create, just a normal glass panes and any of the wooden slabs. So let's go with that. So you go like that with the wooden slab and glass panes, and you can get quite a few of them. Let's get 9. And how it works now, if you put the warded jar next to the in here, now you can take your file Essentia in the file, and you can fill it in up to 64. What you also get, you get the labels. Let me just show you how you create labels. You need slime ball, some paper, and ink, and it doesn't cost you any of your V's. Okay, so you have your 4 labels, very easy to create, and if you stick them on your warded jar, it displays the symbol in here of what it is. And the important thing is now you can take the Essentia out of the jar and it stays empty, but if you try to put different file, let's say you try to put IR file, it won't allow you to do it. So that way you can always get the same aspects going into the jar. Okay, let's go now and create some more research. We will go with the Essentia Tubes. That will help you a little bit to automate your distillation. So you click that, and what you get is your Essentia Tube. You need a Quicksilver, iron, glass, and gold. And the Quicksilver you get from this plant in here. Let me show you quickly. So you get a Quicksilver from Shimmer Leaf. So let's go with that. Okay, and for that you get 6 Essentia Tubes. And what it does now is the Essentia Tube, if you connect it to your Arcan Alembic, it will automatically connect to your jar and it will extract aspects from it. So you get 32 in here. If you connect it to the one above, it will top up your jar. The only problem you have when a jar gets to 64, you will still have some aspect left in here, you can see. And of course you can put another jar next to it and connect it with tube, and that's fine. And it will put the Essentia in there. But the problem is at some point you will have plenty of jars and just you will keep storing it, or you'll have to empty it with the files and destroy them, and that's not very efficient. So what we're going to do now, we're going to research the void jar. It's very easy, just left click it. And what void jar does, it allows you to store aspects inside, and when you get to 64, it basically destroys the aspects. So in the Obsidian Warded Jar and some Ender Pearl. So let's get that quickly. And it does cost you a fair bit of your V's, because it costs you 13.5 of per dito. And let's go with that. The other so let's place it here and let's connect the tube. As you can see now, it uses the aspects from. Let's put some more stone. So let's top it up. And as you can see now, it gets to 62, 63, 64. And rather than storing the Essentia in here, let's destroy this tube for a second and show you how it works. So you see it stores the saxum in here, but when you connect your tube, this saxum from here disappears and go in here and gets destroyed. So you probably want maximum of 1 or 2 warded jar per kind of aspects you're going to get, and it's 51 of aspects in the game. Also, the other thing is, if you destroy this, you can put something else. Let's put furnace in there. I'll just wait for this to get destroyed. And that's how slowly it goes with the coal. As you can see, it goes slower with coal. And if you put alumentum, it will go much faster to be destroyed. And what it does now, you get all different aspects. You get Perdito, your Ingis, and so on. So if you want, you can connect yourself some other jar in here. Let's connect it a bit lower. And you connect yourself a Perdito, and it will store Perdito for you. Then you can connect yourself some other jar in here. And let's say you want Ingis to be stored in this one. So you can go like that. And like that. And you get Ingis in here. So it will use all the aspects, and you can store them in different jars and then just pick up the jars. So the way you pick up the jars, guys, is basically you come to the jar and you left click it. It will pop up and you can pick it up with your, just normally picking it up, and you have a jar of saxum. Then you can just take it to wherever you need it and right click it on the floor, and it will drop it there, and it will keep the aspects for you. Okay guys, and I would like to show you one more thing with the labels, what you can do. You can put actually labels on the Arcan Alembics. So now this Alembic will have Ingis only, and this one will have Perdito only. And what it does, it allows you to better automate things. So now you can connect the tubes the way you want them to be connected, and it will always produce into the same jar. So let's say we have a void jar in here for saxum, void jar in here for Ingis, and void jar in here for Perdito. We'll connect some tubes for them. Okay, so we have tubes collected, as you can see. And what it does now, every time it breaks the item down, let's disconnect the tubes for a second, just so you can see how it works. So every time it breaks the item down now, it will put Saxum in here, it will put Ingot in here, and Perdito in there. So when you have your tubes connected, you can automate the production and you can automate production of certain aspects. So now, whenever we put the furnace in here, we'll get Saxum, we'll get Ingot, and we will get Perdito. Don't really get much Ingot, unfortunately, but get a fair amount of Perdito and fair amount of Saxum. So that's your way ready of automating things with the jars and Arcane Alembics. So you can have your setup for the same aspect to come back to the same tubes all the time. Because unfortunately the problem you have in here, you cannot put items next to each other. So if you have it like that, and imagine that you want it all to be connected in that way, it will go crazy because of the suction ideas. Because the Saxum is trying to get into this jar at the same time as your Perdito is trying to get into this jar, it all go crazy and doesn't basically work. So you cannot have your tubes crossing each other, and that's the biggest problem. So that's why you have to keep it that way for these little small aspects. Later on in the game, you will be able to automate the massive production lines with your golems, and that's going to make it much easier. But for now, that's how you really want it. And it will become useful with automating your crucible crafting later on in the game as well. So okay guys, that's your Essentia Distillation and your Warded Jars and Essentia Tubes. Later on in the game you can automate it a little bit better, and what is important in this research, you will need the Warded Jars and labels to do some really cool stuff with artifice, and that's something we will get into soon in the game, and that will allow you to create really powerful items that I want you to have a look and we will enjoy making in the next episodes. So okay guys, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think about the series, and let me know what would you like to see more in these episodes, and I will see you guys next time.